guys, I'm Ryan and you guys are watching RC Fun and Games. Today we're going to be installing some more upgrades to the Traxxas Trx4M Defender. We got lots of goodies. Basically, we're going to be building a whole diff just from Injora parts, okay? So we've got the aluminum housings to fit, front and rear. Here's the rear ones, guys. See if you guys can see them. We will also be installing the metal gear sets that they've got, Helical ones. We've got the 4 or 6 mil hex extenders. So hopefully I'll be able to install them with the longer drive shafts that I bought. We've also got the skid plates to fit to the vehicle. And of course I will be installing the coreless servo and bracket. Do not forget, guys, to install the servo you do need this servo mount. Okay, and another thing to take in consideration, if you like running in water and stuff, this is not waterproof, guys. So pay attention to that when buying your servo, depending on the conditions you're going to be driving your crawler in. Anyway, we've also got the metal drive shafts to put in. So basically the whole drivetrain is all going to be Injora parts, and I want to get stuck straight in, guys, so let's go for it. Oh yeah, we'll be installing this bearing kit from Injora straight into these diffs, so I don't have to remove all the bearings from there. But we will be using all the brass parts from the Defender on these diffs. So I'm going to start by removing the 2 diffs out of the vehicle so we can take off the brass parts, guys. I'm going to start by removing the wheels, guys. Okay, I'm going to start here on the back diff, guys. Okay, the diffs are definitely a bit on the dirty side, so I don't really want to mess too much with them. I'm just going to take off the diff cover, and I will end up sealing this back up with just the old one. So let me start by removing this diff cover, so we can reuse it, and then we'll start building the back axle. Okay, let's get these packets open. Looks like all the screws are provided. And let's check the quality on these aluminium housings, guys. Okay, let me change camera angle. Okay, now that you guys can see a lot closer, there you are. I think the quality is pretty good so far. We'll have to see when we start assembling it if we have any troubles. But you know what, guys, the machine work on this does look amazing. I love the extra effect they've done around here, guys. Look at that. Yeah, that looks really cool. They've put their logo on there. So yeah, you know what, guys? This looks really interesting. So anyway, I'm going to start by putting all the bearings in, and then we'll start fitting all the other components. So I do like the way they're packaged, guys, because it's all in individual packets, so you got all the different sizes, and I must say that is very helpful. Okay, so I'm going to start with these 2 guys. Okay, here's the ring and pinion gear, guys. Okay, let's have a closer look at these, yeah? And you know what, guys? Once again, the quality looks perfect. I can really not complain. Look at that. I hope you guys can see that. It's all nicely cut. I don't see any imperfections in it, so I think this is going to be a nice fit. So anyway, let's get the bearings on and in there. So let's just see, is this the right ones? Yes, they are. Okay, so it's the ones with the bigger. It's this. There's 2 sets like this. One's got smaller holes. This one's got a bit of bigger hole. That's the ones we're going to be using. So we have to get them on either side. And yeah, you can see with the splines. If you guys can see that, it's got splines. So once you put these on, they're not going to come off so easily. So nice and straight. Okay, and there you are, one's on. Definitely a nice tight fit, guys. Get them nice and flush before you try and push them on, and there you are. So really nice, really easy to do. So now we've got this one in the back, and we know that one takes one of these, if I'm not mistaken. It will be the ones with the smaller hole. Same size, but smaller hole in the center. Okay guys, I've encountered my first problem. The bearing will not go up the shaft. It fits until there, and then it's as tight as can be. So yes, that's the first problem. And considering I'm using Injora bearings, Injora Helical gears, I wouldn't expect to have this problem. So I'm a bit disappointed about this. And I've tried everything, guys. I've tried all my force. It will just not go on, as you guys can see. It is tight. And you don't want to be pushing in the wrong place, because you're just going to bug up the bearing. You've only got that inner race over there to be able to push on, and it's being very difficult. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to take the sander and I'm going to sand with a bit of sandpaper around the edge until it gives me the clearance to get the bearing on. Okay guys? Okay guys, I sanded a minute amount all the way around, okay, and I pushed the bearing on. It was still too tight, but it's gone all the way down, and there's no way I'm removing that anytime soon. Not without destroying the bearing anyway. But anyway, it is there now. It's at the right level. It's got to go all the way right down to the bottom. Okay guys, we're going to be applying very thin amount of grease. Definitely not worth packing it full, because all it does is create more friction, okay? And all the grease is not going to be on the gear. It's just going to get pushed to the sides anyway. So just a nice thin layer. Do the same thing again, guys. Just a very thin layer, just to take away the wear and tear on the metal to metal gears. Okay, I've just put a thin layer. So now I'm going to throw that in there. I've had to remove the bearing so that you can actually fit the shaft, because the shaft is thicker, guys. So stick that in there, find until it goes into place. Once it's in place, grab your bearing, okay, so that one's done, guys. Now I'm going to start throwing these in so it holds the bearing from sliding out. You know what, guys? That's definitely a hell of an improvement. No more bending problems with it. This is now solid, and it feels and looks amazing, guys. So anyway, we'll be putting those on in a minute. Okay guys, I'm gonna remove the battery tray so I can access the driveline, so I can replace it to the metal one. Then we can fit the back axle straight back to the car right now. So just get these two screws out. Yeah. Looks like we're gonna have to remove the gearbox anyway, guys, so we can actually get to the other drive line in the front. So I might as well take it off right now. Okay guys, checking out the quality. They are pretty cool. And you know what? I just put a drop of oil in the middle just to make sure they move nice and smoothly. So, installing it the same way. Let's put this back on there. That means we don't need this piece right now. Okay, guys, I also fitted, if you guys can see, I fitted two washers here because it had play when moving in and out, and I don't like seeing play anywhere. So that side you can't really fit them because you got the housing. So over here it fits nicely and takes away all the play. Gearbox still moves nice and freely, so I'm fine with that. Now let's get this back in so we can get on with fitting the back diff back. Once again, guys, it looks amazing. Look at that, guys. The finish off is really outstanding. I'm very impressed with these. This is a great upgrade to the vehicle. Those diffs, the original ones, were really flimsy, and like I said, you get all the screws provided as well. Now, just for a matter of interest, guys, let's see if the new pinion gear in metal for the front diff has also got the same problem as I had on the back diff. So where are those bearings? Moment of truth, guys. It's the same problem. It's even worse on this one, guys. This one doesn't even go on the beginning piece. Yeah, that's gonna be a bummer. Okay, guys, I'm outside. I'm gonna go off and I'm gonna go and sand this again. So yeah, that's definitely something to pay attention to, guys. If you've got the bearings, maybe with the bushing, it won't be such a tight fit, but with the bearings, clearly they do not want to go on. And I'm not gonna force them. I'd rather take a little bit off so that it can slide on, but at the same time still be stuck. So just a minute amount. So I'm off to go and sand, guys. Yeah, and that thing is stuck. Okay, guys, I've sanded just a little bit off this, guys, and I put a drop of oil on it. Of course, cleaned it up really nicely because you don't want any metal filings on the teeth. And now I'm going to try and fit that bearing. Let's see if it's going to slide on. That's better already. Oh, so guys, like I said, it was just a tiny bit that I had to remove. I sanded it once all the way around really nicely, then sanded it that way so they can slide on easier. Okay, and I'm well and truly impressed now. The back one I should have sanded a little bit more because I will not be getting that bearing off. But anyway, let's get this one installed. So now I can drop this one down there. First put some grease on it. Okay, and like I mentioned in the last one, just a fine layer of grease, no more. I used to do a lot of winches for the boats, guys, so lots of gears. Some of them were 3, some of them were 7-speed. So I'm very used to cleaning and servicing lots of gears. Guys, the reason you apply it like this is because all you need is a fine coating. It's not like this thing is going to be running to hit extreme heat or anything. It's just to prevent friction on the actual 2 gears so you don't wear away the metal. And by packing it full of grease, it starts creating resistance, just making it harder for you to have a nice smooth drive. Anyway, it's nicely done. Now I'm just gonna stick it in there. Wait. Okay. And there we are. That's that one in. Now, the other half of it. Okay, and again, repeat the same process, guys. Just a thin layer in between the gears. This is the way I was taught when you were working on boat winches and stuff. You put a fine layer. If you just pack it full, all it does is cause trouble in a couple of months. And this is the same kind of system. It's not running under high speed, so it should not get overheated or anything like that. Now, just gonna stick our bearings on here, guys. Now we're going to grab our new drive lines that are the extended ones. Okay, we're going to need the longer ones, guys. And again, guys, don't forget your Loctite. Okay, guys, and it's nice and free. It looks amazing. It's come out really good. And now it's basically ready to go straight back in. But before we do that, let's get the servo out so we can replace the servo as well. Okay, guys, I'm gonna fit the mount for the servo. And this is definitely different now. So this just slides down. I couldn't understand on the other one. Now I understand what these small screws are for. Okay, and they are for holding the servo mount on. Okay, we've got to cut off the zip ties so that we can actually get the servo out. So without damaging your wires, be very careful. Okay. Guys, these new servos are awesome. They look awesome. And you know what? They are great on the trail. I was testing the Bronco on some rocks behind my house here. Guys, it is strong. Guys, the only thing about these are that they're not waterproof. Besides that, they're excellent servos. We get a bunch of screws and servo horns. Yeah, we've got our beautiful servo. Check that out, guys. It just looks amazing. The finish off on this is pretty cool, guys. Now, let's get this one in there. You guys just want to see the white side's facing that way. Now we're gonna have to put our battery on so we can make sure that it's centered before we put servo horn on or anything else to it. So make sure your steering trim is on neutral. Bang on 0. Okay, so that should be as centered as we're gonna get it. It is a bit noisy, these servos, guys, as you guys can hear. Okay, anyway, now let's get our servo horn on. So now do not forget, guys, make sure you put some Loctite on the servo horn. Just a little bit, you don't need a lot. Okay. Now we're gonna throw our screws in. Okay, guys, now inside the other packet that had all the servo horns are these thinner screws, because the ones they give you do not work. They're too fat. Okay, so you can see the difference here. These are quite a bit narrower than the others for this servo. Okay. We have got it all done. Now we've got to get our battery tray back down, sort out our wiring a bit just to make sure it's tidy again. But basically, guys, we have done it. It wasn't that bad. Definitely requires a bit of work. It's not just easy, but once you get it there, it's a lot of fun to do. Okay, bought these a while back already from Injora as well, but I couldn't fit them really. I could get them to take, but I wanted to put the extended shafts to see if by fitting these then I can still use the normal nuts and everything, guys. So it's an experiment to me. Let's see what happens. Okay, now there you guys can see. I think that's pretty straight too. Okay, so we know it's all working okay. Let's unplug him. Now guys, I forgot to fit the diff covers. So let's see if I can get those on. So I think I can get away with it. I don't have to take off anything. Okay guys, we've completed all the work on the Defender. It all went together pretty easily. It was just that pinion gear which I had a bit of trouble with. We had to sand them for the bearings to go over. Besides that, everything went together really well. Now all we can do is take it out on the trail and give it a little test so we can see how it performs. But I can already tell you, just moving it around on top of the table, yeah, it was extremely smooth. By putting those helical gears and of course the aluminum housings, now there's no friction on those axles and it's made it able to crawl so slow. But you guys will see that out on the trail. So all I've got to say is, guys, thanks for joining me on another video here, upgrading the Traxxas Trx4Ms, because these are great little rigs and I just want to say thank you, because all the support I get from you guys is what makes me continue making these videos. So I'll see you guys on the next one, and I hope you guys have some amazing trails.